What was the electoral trust?
Electoral trust is now is a
2013.
kind of
That was 2013.
semi-anonymous instrument. This is what it is. So any company can form or set up what is called an electoral trust, so long as it is recognized by the income tax department. In this electoral trust, any company can donate. So let's say that any company A has set up an electoral trust. Companies B, C, D, E, etc., they all donate to that trust. And that trust then donates to different political parties. So it's a kind of semi-anonymous system. Semi-anonymous meaning, of course, in income tax, they have to disclose who are the companies who have donated to this trust. They are also expected to disclose which are the political parties to which the trust has donated. But which company has donated to which political party is not known. Sometimes they may say, well, we didn't say, but in fact, my lord, what would be happening, I expect, would be every company donating to an electoral trust would say, look, I am giving this trust 50 crores and we want this 50 crores to be donated to A and B political parties. Normally, that's what is likely to have been happening, likely to be happening through these electoral trusts. So this is also a kind of semi-anonymous way, not totally anonymous, because you can come to know which are the companies who have donated to this electoral trust, and you can also come to know which are the political parties that this electoral trust has donated how much money to. So in that sense, there is more information than you have by way of electoral bond. But now, the justification, so the government said that we want to reduce cash. Earlier, people were donating through cash, and therefore, they also said that we have reduced this disclosure requirement from anything above 20,000 rupees to anything above 2,000 rupees. Though, my lord, that amendment was only made in the Income Tax Act, not followed through in the Representation of People Act. But let's assume that it would have been made even in the Representation of People Act. That means the law earlier was that you have to disclose any donations above 20,000 rupees. The political party has to disclose to the income tax as well as to the Election Commission. Anything received above 20,000 rupees, that has been brought down to 2,000. How will that reduce cash? Because earlier the party said that, look, we have received X crores by way of donations, small donations below 20,000. Now they will say, we have received the same X crores by way of small donations below 2,000. That's not going to make any difference, because all that the party has to say is, we put out a sheet, we held a rally, we put out a chadar, and people put money in that. Somebody put 500 rupees, somebody put 200 rupees, somebody put 100 rupees, etc. And we have collected X number of crores from small donations in this manner. So therefore, that is not going to make any difference. If you had said, on the contrary, that every political party will only take money through banking channels and cash receipts are prohibited, they are a corrupt practice, or that the party shall be deregistered if it starts taking money, or the candidate will be disqualified if he takes money by cash, then yes, you could have done something to stop this menace of cash, etc. This has not stopped the menace of cash. Today, my lord, candidates are still spending many times the amount by way of cash, and they are not being caught. They are not being caught, unfortunately.
Right, now let's get into the submission.
Yes,
you can just show us.
now just one more thing. Now, my lord, one of the justifications given by the government for electoral bonds was that donors are reluctant to donate openly to political parties because of fear of whatever. Now, so we asked this question under RTI. So that response, RTI response, my lord, is in volume 4, page 536. Volume 4, page 536. pointed out that the political party can well turn around and say, "Ki we don't even know." I'm saying that, and ultimately, my
So the
lord,
purchaser of the bond
Yes.
may not be the person who's actually handing it over to the
Correct.
political party.
that's right. That's why they may say that we don't know. And they can also say that it was not even handed over in person. It was just left at our doorstep. So, or couriered to us. Anything they can say.
Who's the election commission is appearing before us?
Yes. I'll just read out.
Who's appearing for the election commission? Mr. Sharma, you have details of this data which has been submitted pursuant to the interim order.
Order. We have that seal cover. Got that. With my lords.
Do keep it with you in the court so
Yeah.
that at an appropriate time we'd like to look at it.
But this is pertaining to 2019, Manoj. That interim order was passed in 2019. So pertaining to that, the data is with us.
But they should give the data. This was a continuing interim.
But this is not only confined to the 2019 election.
Because
The mandate is that you must continue to maintain this data.
as far as the data of 2019 is concerned, Manoj, that's there in the seal cover. Because if my laws requires
So,
data
Mr.
of,
Sharma, let's be very clear. This order, this is an interim order.
that's right.
It will continue till the decision.
So there are 40 legal lordships can possibly that's the.
There are
Till date.
Para 14 of them.
For the past, that's for the past.
The above details will be furnished forthwith in respect of electoral bonds received by a political party till date. The detail of such other bonds received by such political party up to the date fixed for issuing such bond as per note of the Ministry of Finance dated so and so will be submitted on or before 30th May 2019.
So just one thing now. You are reading paragraph 13 as restricted by paragraph 14? And you have not carried forward the data with regard to post the interim order.
I'll have to seek instructions.
Please take instructions on that.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
14 does not restrict paragraph 13. Paragraph 14 is for the past. Paragraph 13 is from that period onwards.
Because I'll take instructions.
What paragraph 14 says is that in respect of the past period, the data will be submitted forthwith. But para 13 is a continuing direction. This is not only confined to the 2019 election.
Because then I'll seek instruction because I'll be.
This
So
may
clear-
not, this,
Yeah,
right,
this may not be really very relevant
this
actually.
may not be
No, I
relevant
know
because it's already, they already know its confidentiality is in a way maintained under the.
No, so that justification given by the, I'm only showing this to show that one of the justifications given by the government for introducing the electoral bond scheme was, they said that, look, we are introducing this anonymous instrument of funding political parties because donors are reluctant to disclose who they are funding to. So we asked this question, was any representation received from any donor whatsoever that, look,
No, but you don't have to have a representation from a donor to perceive that reluctance. I mean, we're just trying to analyze, RTI response really will not carry your submission any further.
no, I'm
But-
saying that government should have some
There's an
basis.
assumption that, look, if you
That's-
disclose the name of the donor, there'll be other political parties who will know that you have contributed to this political party, and therefore they might be subject to, suppose a donor is carrying on business in the state. If the name of the donor is made available to all the political parties, the rival political parties will say, well, or especially if you are making a contribution to a
only-
party which is not in power.
Only fear would be from the party.
That's the logic. Whether it's valid or not is what we have to decide.
Correct. Now, your lordship may come back to my written submission. I just want to
Prashant
show,
Bhushan, you're on, the first argument was right to information under 19.
I'm coming to that. I just wanted to lay out the few other
Now
factual
let's
details.
look at the material what
No,
you
no,
are supporting.
interim orders, my lord, two things.
Yes,
Interim
let's see the
orders.
interim orders.
I just wanted to read the justification given by the government for these electoral bonds. At page 14 of my written submissions, I have quoted the relevant part. para 15 of my written submissions. On 7th January 2018, 5 days after the introduction of the scheme, the PIB published an article written by the then Finance Minister on the necessity for introducing electoral bonds. The stand of the government was that expenditures of all political parties runs into thousands of crores. However, there has not been a transparent funding mechanism of the political system. The said PIB released quotes from the then Finance Minister's article. Quote, the conventional system of political funding is to rely on donations. These donations, big or small, come from a range of sources from political workers, sympathizers, small business people, and even large industrialists. The conventional practice of funding political system was to take donations in cash and undertake these expenditures in cash. Sources are anonymous or pseudonymous. The quantum of money was never disclosed. The present system ensures unclean money coming from unidentifiable sources. It is wholly non-transparent system. Most political groups seem fairly satisfied with the present arrangement and would not mind the status quo to continue. The effort, therefore, is to run down any alternative system which is devised to cleanse the political funding mechanism. It further said that most donors are reluctant to disclose the details of quantums of donations given to a political party. A major step was taken by Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. The Income Tax Act was amended to include a provision that donations made to parties would be treated as expenditure and would thus give a tax advantage to the donor. If the political party disclosed its donations in a prescribed manner, it would also not be liable to pay tax. A political party was expected to file its returns both with the income tax authorities and the election commission. It was hoped that the donors would increasingly start donating money by check. Some donors did start following this practice, but most of them were reluctant to disclose the details of quantum of donation given to a political party. This was because they feared consequences visiting them from political opponents. The law was further amended through UPA government to provide for pass-through electoral trust so that donors would park their money with the electoral trust, which in turn would distribute them to various political parties. Both these reforms taken together resulted in only a small fraction of the donations coming in the form of checks. And therefore they say we have now introduced these electoral bonds because, in fact, my lord, this is at the whole SO and CPIO budget division gave their inputs in respect of electoral bond scheme 2018 pertaining to pre-budget division subsequent to 7/6/2017, the date of assigning the job to the budget division as follows. As regards point A and B, no representation or petition or communication has been received from the donors regarding the need for maintaining confidentiality of the identity while making donations to political parties.
Where are they?
Page 15, bottom,
Volume?
volume 1, in my written submissions itself.
All right.
I've quoted it. And I've given the name of the convenience compilation for the original. We have considered the matter including amendments to the statutes brought in by the Finance Act 2016 and 2017. We have closely examined the stand taken by the respective parties and what has been stated by the Election Commission in its affidavit, details of which have been set out. All that we would like to state for the present is that the rival contentions give rise to weighty issues which have a tremendous bearing on the sanctity of the electoral process in the country. Such weighty issues would require an in-depth hearing which cannot be concluded and the issues answered within the limited time that is available before the process of funding through electoral bonds comes to a closure as per the schedule noted earlier. In the above perspective, according to us, the just and proper interim direction would be to require all political parties who have received donations through electoral bonds to submit to the Election Commission in a sealed cover detailed particulars of the donors against each bond, the amount of each bond and the full particulars of the credit received against each bond, namely the particulars of the bank accounts to which the amount has been credited and the date of each such credit. Pausing here, my lord, I